Greetings, salutations, and welcome to another COK-RantTalk. Today's subject will be slightly humorous in a sense, but informative all the same. Today's subject is called, the title of the subject is called, What is Simping? Now, the thing about it is, the reason I chose this subject is because mostly for the contemplation of, you know, things in society, but also mostly for the informative concept as well. It's this subject. It's subjects. It's the word itself is kind of overused slightly as well, but the concept of what the word means has a bit of fortitude to how a lot of guys in society might feel. So the definition of simp, which simping is the act of this word, is defined as a man that puts himself in a subservient/submissive position under women in hopes of winning them over without the woman bringing anything to the table. Now, basically, that's a whole. Now, the old heads from 30 years ago probably would have said the definition, that's basically a sucker. But, things tend to change. And the word itself it's fairly new, since I found it in 2017. But basically, in all fairness, the simp is basically just a small, insignificant word for basically a guy who tries to ingratiate women through tangible means to win a woman in her favor. Now, from my personal experience with simping, I don't really have that many experiences, but it's experience. In my days in college, I used to, I might have been one or two girls that, I liked personally, had some, fair amount of bonding with them, but, nothing real, I might have, talked to them, but, I might have found them in the arms of, somebody else, or they would have changed their mind. And, that's common, that's normal. The thing about it is, simping, sadly, it's not really something I would fairly derive any man to participate in. And the thing about it is with simping is, it's kind of intuitive, but it's something that you should absolutely grow out of, because it's nothing that simping is something that it makes you not want to put yourself. It makes you think about other people's desires and wants instead of your own. And the thing about it is, as I say in my first rant video, you should always make sure that you are taken care of first before anybody else. And the thing about it, and another thing in media tends to TikTok for some reason has done this weird, simp nation thing, which I don't really keep up with TikTok, but the thing about it is they try to make it into some sort of humor, and I feel like to a degree it's kind of invoking some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Advocating for simping, and I humbly have a real disdain for anything. And another thing in media, especially in movies and entertainment, especially romantic comedies, will always portray this guy who was, hard head over heels for this woman who barely probably even knew he existed, and so he would do all these unnecessary bad things, foolish, crazy, outlandish things just to win her adulation. And that's one thing that I don't really recommend any man do. If you really want to know what gratitude that a simp gets for his work on trying to win over a woman, watch the movie The Last American Virgin. I humbly, or either go on YouTube and watch the ending, because that's basically the definition of what all simp has at the end of themselves. Now, another thing that I suggest what I wanted to talk about was that simping Also, there are some, some lines that dudes might hear from, that might say you might be being simped. People will use some lines like, a woman might use some lines like, sorry, I fell asleep, or we're just friends, or, I'm not like other women, or I'm not like other men. I was busy. Some excuses like that. And, some of these things not always excuses. Some of these things are true. But it also depends on the vibe, which you get from that person to determine if you might be being, fooled, or you might be pulling wool over your own eyes to not see what's actually being told to you. It's always necessary for you to, it's necessary for you to be, it's necessary for you to make sure that you are in a place where you're dealing with a person, but that you're reciprocating the same type of energy that they are reciprocating to you. And I'm wholeheartedly saying about this. Simping is a sin. Yes, that's the number one thing that you can do. It's not real. It's not good, bro. That shit's not cool. You shouldn't do it. It's not wholeheartedly. It's not good for you. And the thing about it is that simp culture, and I always notice this, simp culture seems to advocate for men to do outlandish things just for the adulation of women that they might not even be interested in. So I have a few bit of rules for you, or I call them laws, that I would take into effect to prevent you from simping. And I call them my 5 laws. And this is more of a closing argument for me. So, law 1 is assert yourself and assert your standard. When I say assert yourself, I mean have confidence. But make sure that you are always you put your own efforts first. If someone is not appreciating your efforts and trying to be mutually agreeable or mutually friendly with them, then they're probably not worth you being with in the first place. Because that means they have no respect for you, and they have no respect for what you're trying to create for them. And with that, and that comes with standards as well. So you should never accept anything less than what you already are used to. If somebody believes that, then they're not worth having you around in anything. Number 2, and I back this up claim very extremely well. Never lead with your assets. You will be nothing more than a walking ATM for people. And I hope, and the thing about it is that I'm just speaking to guys for this one. With the rise of using gratuity for other various means with women, because we already know how people like money, women like money. But the thing about it is, don't be somebody else's piggy bank. That doesn't even have to be money. You could have certain skills that a woman is looking for, but she's just using you for those skills. So be very cognizant of what you tell people, or what you're capable of. Number 3, and then this one is very important. Focus on yourself. I explained this in my last rant video. Focus making sure that you are taken care of is the most important part of self-love itself. Going to the gym, working out, eating right, getting yourself a nice clothes, telling yourself you look nice in the morning. That's focusing on yourself. Making sure, if you're in college, making sure that you are working in a position where you actually feel that you appreciate it, or working for a specific set of skills. That's focusing on yourself, working on your purpose, making sure that you know what your true purpose is in life. That's focusing on yourself. Number four, sorry. Have options. My thing about it is, don't have one itis for a person. Don't do that. Thing about it is that people's emotions, especially, I'm gonna say it, especially women's emotions, change like the wind. So the thing about it is, don't have one itis for one person, and then you get all your head, you get your heart crushed, all because you decided to put all your energy and time. And sometimes maybe another relationship might grow up. But it's always nice to have open your options to other people. Just in case something occurs with the other person that you were attracted to. There's nothing wrong with having options. So always make sure that you're open to it. And my fifth and final law, which is one of the most important ones, be yourself. One thing from my own experiences I learned is that trying to be something that you're not is very deleterious to your mental health. And the thing about it is, if you have to sell a person a dream, it just makes you seem even more shallow than the person that you might be trying to be with. Because if someone can't appreciate you for who you are, and they definitely are needed for you or what you are trying to accomplish with your life. Like I said before, the whole into this video is don't be a simp. It gets you nothing. But if you are gonna simp for somebody that actually will simp back for you. Because that'll show that you not only appreciate, that you're not only appreciated, but they appreciate you. But that's all the time we have for right now. This has been another Rant Talk. Until next time, this is Pure Prestige signing off. Have a good one.